Hey guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to another video. So today I'll be talking about my 2021 wrap-up slash statistics. I like sharing stats. I'll be putting graphs up on the screen, so I just wanted to talk about how my reading went in 2021 and like what some of the trends were with my reading and that type of thing. So let's just jump straight in. So if I'm looking down at my computer a lot, like my computer's sitting right there. If I'm looking down at it a lot during this video, I'm sorry, but that's where all the information is. So firstly, my goal was 150 books in 2021, but I ended up only reading 125. I went through a little bit of a reading slump throughout like a couple months, and that kind of resulted in the 125 instead of 150, whereas I usually do get over 150 read in a year. So in 2021, I did DNF 10 books that I started reading. Those were The Children of Eden by Joey Graceffa, The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell, Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bachedaust, Witches Steeped in Gold, When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, The Ghost Tracks by Celsa Herdadu, Night Watch on the Hinterlands, which I actually don't have an author written down and I don't remember who wrote that, She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, Small Favors by Erin A. Craig, and Red Skies Falling by Alex London. So also in 2021, I reread 31 books. I'm not gonna like talk about those. Mostly Harry Potter Wayward Children series, I reread that. So actually I reread a fair few first and second books in series, so that way I could finish like the third book in the series, or vice, like, yeah, however many books I read. But there was a few that I did reread, 1 or 2 books in order to continue a series this year, which is good because it means I got some series off my TBR. So let's talk books read per month. So in January I read 10 books, February was 5, March was 12, April was 8, May was 11, June was 18, July was 12, August was 9, September was 13, October was 12, November was 6, and December was 9. So my worst month was February with only 5 books, and June was 18, but also that was during a graphic novel readathon, so there was a lot of graphic novels in the month of June, which is why I was able to read 18 books in 1 month. I also read a total of 44,165 pages in 2021. Again, I'll put the monthly graph up on the screen. I'm not going to read all this one out, but there is the graph on the screen. So as for genre of book, my most read genre is of course fantasy with 72 books. And my least read out of the genres that I did actually read, like it's not a 0, is dystopian, and I only read 1. So 99 of the books that I read were YA, 11 of them were middle grade. I read none new adult, and 15 adult. 75 of the books that I read were audiobooks, followed by 25 that were graphic novels. I then read 12 hardcovers and 8 paperbacks and 5 ebooks. So as for page length, for the most part, the books I was reading were between 300 and 400 pages. There was 49 of them that fitted in that group. And also the largest book I read was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And the shortest book I read was Of Swords and Dragons by Heather Renee, which was a novella. And it was only 93 pages. And Order of the Phoenix is like 816, I believe. So for publication year, I didn't actually read anything that was published before 1991. Usually I do read but I didn't actually read any Agatha Christie this year, like not a single one. So I had none below 1991, because generally speaking, like the books that I read that are older than that are Agatha Christie, because I don't tend to read classics or anything like that. But 33 of the books I read were from 2021 and 33 were from 2020. So a lot of them were new releases. There's also 19 from 2019, which I thought was a cool number because 19. 2019. As for star ratings, so I'm only counting the books that were not rereads, so this is out of 94 books. So in 2021, I was definitely like very specifically reading things that I thought I would enjoy and not reading things just because of the hype. So that way they're actually within my interest, so I was likely to rate them higher. And also I was allowing myself to DNF. But this year going into 2022, I'm definitely going to concentrate on making my reviews, well, my star ratings per se, a little bit more critical, because as you can see, 33 books were 4.5 stars, but within that I know there's a big difference. So I've kind of reevaluated my star ratings to take into account what I actually think is a 4.5 stars, like nearly amazing compared to what was pretty good. Like I'm kind of being a little bit harsher, so I'll probably be rating more books like 3.5. Last year I was kind of thought of a 3 as like a kind of crap book, whereas I'm not like, no, 3's pretty good. Like 3's an average, like it was good, wasn't amazing, but it was good. So I'm gonna be a little bit more critical in my ratings to account for that, because I've noticed that I rate a lot of things 4.5 stars or 4 stars. And really, if I sat down and looked at all those 4.5 stars, there'd be ones and they'd be like, oh yeah, that one's so much better than that one. So there needs to be a little bit of a difference, if that makes any sense. For my rereads, I didn't rate anything under a 3.5, under a 4, so makes sense. They're rereads. I wouldn't be reading them again if I didn't like them the first time. But I rated the 2 of them 4 stars, 15 of them 4.5 stars, and 14 of them 5 stars. Now we have author gender. So we have 6 male authors, which is not a lot, 102 female, which is a hell of a lot more, 13 with multiple authors, 1 with a non-binary author, and 2 with trans authors. I definitely do not read a lot of books by male authors, or non-binary or trans for that matter, but like, for me, I don't read that many male authored books. Most of the books I gravitate towards are just written by females. Like, I don't look at the gender of an author when I go to pick up a book. I'm looking at the premise. So that's just how it goes. So I read 46 books that had LGBT plus rep, and I allowed myself to record, like I recorded what rep was in that book, but I allowed myself to record up to 2 per book. So there was books that had more than 2 and there was books that only had 1. I have 58 representations within those books, but like I said, there was books that were more, like had more, but for the most part I chose the ones that were like the main character, like the most major characters. So I had 10 books that featured lesbians, 22 that featured gay, 14 that featured bisexuals, 8 that featured someone that was trans, 1 that featured someone that was asexual, 2 that featured non-binary, and 1 that featured pansexual. And I'm going to try and read a bit more diversely this year, so we'll see if we can add some more types of representation to that category. I'd like to add one that is my own representation, but I have not found a book that features polysexual. So there's books that feature polyamorous, but that is not the same thing. So I'm going to try and do that this year, and I'll hopefully be able to expand that list. So out of the 125 books, I read only 20 that were written by authors of color. But like I said, again, I don't look at the author, I look at the premise of the book. And 23 books were own voices, whether that be disability rep. I also want to start recording different types of rep as well. But yeah, 23 of them were own voices, whether that was person of color, disability, LGBT, somewhere along those lines. 53 of the 125 books were from new to me authors that I had never read from before, and 72 of them were from authors that I had read from before. As for standalone versus part of a series, I read 44 standalones, which is actually up from last year, well, 2020, I believe, and I read 81 that were part of a series. And also kind of broke down, which I don't have a graph or anything for this because I did it after the fact, but I read 2 prequels, 34 books that were the first book in a series, 20 books that were the second, 12 books that were the third, 7 books that were the fourth, 3 books that were the fifth, 2 books that were sixth, and 1 book that was the seventh. Now, as for my reading goals, again, I don't have a graph for this or anything, but my Goodreads goal was 150 books and I read 125. The Little Inkling 2021 challenge thing that was in the Always Fully Booked planner, I read 23 out of 23 of those. I actually finished that one. The Reading the Rainbow challenge, which is again is in the Always Fully Booked planner, I read 10 of 10, so got that one finished. On the Cover challenge, I only read 8 of the 10. The A to Z challenge, so books that start with the letter of the alphabet, I read 19 out of 26. The ones that caught me up were like the U's and Y's and Z's and that type of thing. The Read Big Books, I read 7 of the 12. My goal was to read 12 big books. So anything over 500 pages, I was counting for this. So I only read 7 and my goal was 12. And then I read 9 of the 21 books I was planning to read in 2021, but I also DNF'd at 1. So 10 I completed off the list kind of. For 2022, I will be doing the Little Inkling challenge again. I haven't received my Little Inkling book yet, the Always Fully Booked planner. It hasn't arrived to me just yet at the time of filming this, so I don't know what the challenges specifically are. I think that the A to Z one's still in there and the color one's still in there, but the On the Cover one, I'm assuming they've changed up the challenges, and the big one, they've changed up the challenges. If you want to know the 22 books that I plan to read in 2022, I will leave that link down below. I have posted a video of that one. But yes, that is it, I think. Let me know how many books you read in 2021. Did you meet your goal, your personal goal? Let me know in the comments. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.